All right, I want to do a follow-up video on shipping container prices that I did a few weeks ago. It was during the tariff war, which the tariff war with China, I guess, has subsided for the moment. I felt like it was going to be a brief thing anyway. 70% tariffs, it's not sustainable. So we'll see what happens. But in that video a few weeks ago, I said container prices were up. They were. They're not up as much. They've come back down a little bit. So I can see some fluctuation. But prices are still probably 5% elevated from where they were 3 months ago, but not much more than what we've seen over the past few years. And we do see container prices fluctuate week to week anyway. But for example, a new 40-foot one trip off my lot, a true one trip, there's a lot of one trip containers being sold as one trip, and they're multiple trip. Usually there are other colors besides ivory, or they look dingy, you can kind of tell. But you can look up the serial number on any of these containers called the birthmark, and you can see how many trips it's done and when it was manufactured. But slate gray containers for me are still running, 40 foot are still running way higher than ivory. So slate gray double door off my lot right now is probably $6,500. An ivory double door one trip high cube 40 is probably $5,500, so an extra $1,000 just for the paint. But if you want slate gray and you want a factory paint, that's the way to go. Ivory one trippers up about 10%. Used 20s have never gotten back down to where they should have after COVID. We're still at $2,500 retail, maybe 23 on a used 20. I'd like to see those under 2,000. That's what they were in 2021, 22. So they're the least value of any of the containers in my opinion. And then used 40s are about 33 to 38, just depending on quality. I don't really sell one in watertight, mostly cargo worthy. So I can see prices kind of hanging out where we are, maybe a little bit lower, but we're going to have an influx of freight that was tariff tire that drove freight prices down and in turn subsidizes the price of the container. So I can see elevated prices for a bit longer, maybe a couple of months, but things are looking better at the moment.